Hey, my friends, this is The Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me today with the communication tips, just different ideas here today that I wanted to share that I got thinking about throughout my life and things that have helped me. And there's very simple tips, but I think that a lot of us don't use them. Even I forget about these sometimes, and I go back and go, okay, I need to kind of reinstate this tip. And so let's just go through a few of them here. And the first one is eye contact. I mean, how many times have you been trying to have a conversation with someone, but they're looking at their phone, or they're trying to read a magazine, or they're looking at their shoes, or looking up at the sky, or looking over your shoulders at something behind you? It's hard to focus on a conversation when you don't have basic eye contact from the other person. And also from yourself. Other people could be distracted if you're looking at something. So we're not talking about staring down someone or giving someone the evil eye or nothing like that. We're talking about basic casual eye contact during a conversation. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. It's kind of like an anchoring point. It's a place, a foundation, if you will, that the people on both sides of the conversation can come back to. And it's also really important when you look at someone and you look at their eyes and you have that moment of connection during a conversation, you can get a really good sense of their emotions and about their sincerity and a lot of other things as well. So eye contact. The next is volume. Some people are very soft-spoken. Other people are very loud and booming. They have thunder in their voice. But if you are of any extreme, it may be beneficial to practice modulating that voice to a more middle ground. And there's nothing wrong with highlighting something in your conversation with soft-spokenness or with thunder. But most people don't like extremes. So be aware of how your volume plays into your conversations. Speed. Some people, like myself, when I get excited, I talk really fast and I'll start tripping over my words. I will literally start to even stutter at sometimes. And it's something that I consciously, even right now, making this video, I'm very conscious about the speed in which I speak. I do a lot better communicating with others when I slow down. Having pauses really can help deliver a message a lot more, I guess you could call it, effectively than running through your conversation or just speeding through your words. So you want to really kind of be aware of speed. Just like with volume, you can also highlight words or different context within your communication by how fast or how slow you say it. The next tip would be content, what you're saying. Up until now, it's how we say it and how we deliver it and some of the other supporting ways that enhance communication. But the content is a really big part of it as well. You want to have consistency not only in your actions, but in your words. You want them to kind of coexist and complement each other. Content. Big deal. You want to not be too wordy, and you want to try to get to the point without sounding like you're rushing to the finish line. The next is sincerity. You want to show the other person that you have a level of effort and attention. You have some level of investment in this conversation, that you're not distracted, that you want to understand what they're saying, and that you really want them to hear what you have to say. It's very important. Be as sincere as possible. The more sincere, the more respected you're going to be, the more patient people will be with you. And overall, you're going to get a lot more out of the conversation. The next is listening. listening skills is probably one of the most important aspects of within a conversation, right there with the content of the conversation. And listening should be done more than speaking. If you're starting to speak more than you're listening, then you might want to slow down and let the other person or other people talk. It's very important to listen, understand, truly understand what is being communicated to you by the other parties. And it's very good as well to ask for clarification or to reinstate or to repeat what was said to you, because it reinforces that you heard what they said and you clarified to yourself with certainty that you heard what you just heard. It's very important. Listening skills. The next is body language. Your body language is something that you have to really keep in check. If you're jittery and if you're not looking like you're focused, if you're bouncing your leg and if you're sitting down and your leg's bouncing, or you're fidgeting with your hair, it's going to send probably the wrong signal. Especially if you're trying to talk to someone about something serious and you're trying to be sincere, people are going to wonder what's going on. So you're going to have to try to keep your body language in check. And once again, try to make it so that it matches with the tone of the conversation and with the content. And lastly, you want to be aware of various barriers that can kind of surface during a conversation. You want to eliminate these communication barriers with behaviors that are perceived as open and basically inviting. So you don't want to cross your arms or cross your legs when possible. You don't want to blade your body when you're talking to someone, so it looks like your body is pointing in a different direction than the person that you're at. You want to square off with that person so that both shoulders are pointing toward that person. And so basically it's common sense, but there are physical and psychological barriers to be aware of. And you'll kind of notice when you do things that create tension or barriers because the other person starts to become slightly uncomfortable or slightly less willing to share information, or they become a little defensive. And this happens from time to time. Sometimes we just have bad habits of crossing our arms or doing things to put barriers, especially physical things, in between us and the other person. But it's best to keep an open channel, an open space between us and the other person or the other people when we have conversations. So I hope these tips helped. I want to thank everyone for your ongoing support. You guys take care.